Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation. Except it's not a sex change. It's to become big and blue.
Mm-hmm. No more penis. Actually, I can't start off the podcast with that.
Well, it is Nut Everywhere November. And you're listening to The Swamp, which is our podcast, and it's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
Whack! I would say yes. This week, pretty whack. Yeah. Pretty whack.
Yeah, you're really stretching the bounds of Nut Everywhere November.
So, yeah, the theme of this month, we wanted to cover all movies that are like sexy, erotic, sort of, that is the vibe. But I really needed you to watch the movie Avatar because
this will make sense to you next month.
Yeah, next month, spoiler, I'm going to make Emily watch all James Cameron sequels because I get to choose, and so I'm punishing everyone. But it's not a punishment, it's going to be a gift. But I also had this like Avatar journey for you because the third one is coming out.
Yes.
And you haven't seen, or you had seen this first one, but your recollection
I was 9.
Well, yeah. So this movie came out in 2009 and we were born in 98 and 99 respectively. So we were about in like 4th grade when this came out, if I recall.
Which is so crazy because I feel like I have like this feels like around the time where I became very conscious. And I remember this movie for sure. And I remember the buzz and all the hype and everything like that. And I remember seeing it. I scantily remembered the plot.
Yeah, you were like, hey, Sigourney Weaver's gonna get shot, right?
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I was like kind of like calling it as it happened. I was
it's
like, this is yeah, exactly. And I certainly remembered the ponytail sex,
which is why it's related to Nutting Everywhere, because not only does this movie feature alien ponytail sex, but this is a case of censorship.
The mouse has castrated.
It's crazy.
James Cameron.
James Cameron's Avatar is a 20th Century Fox production, and 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney. So Disney now owns, like, proprietarily Avatar.
Well, everything.
They opened Pandora, the Floating Islands.
Oh, yes. It's one of their, they have, like, one of the most expensive animatronics, like, on the globe in there or something like that.
Animal Kingdom in Disney, the theme park. It's, like, all, which I'm like, have you watched the movie? That's like the opposite of what is the point of the movie, but obviously it's like
they sent the tourist aliens home.
Well, okay, so the censorship though, so culturally, when this came out, it was insanely expensive. And everyone knew that the graphics were going to be awesome.
Yeah, that was the thing.
James Cameron like invented several new cameras for capturing 3D and doing all the mocap, and they pretty much invented a new style of filmmaking for this movie pretty much. But then it came out and everyone saw it. Like statistically, everyone saw it. It became the highest grossing movie. I think it still is the highest grossing movie of all time. If you count like all sales, including like rental, home video, everything. Avatar,
not like box office though. I think anymore has probably been crushed by like Marvel.
Avatar 1 is spot number 1, and it made $2.9 billion. Avengers Endgame is spot number 2.
Okay.
But then spot number 3, Avatar Way of Water. Spot number 4, Titanic. So James Cameron
dominates.
James Cameron holds 3 of the top 4 highest grossing movies ever.
Okay.
Which is like, he knows how to get it done.
Which is interesting because you and I were sort of talking about this beforehand, and you were asking me which James Cameron movies I had seen. Not a hell of a lot. I honestly got to give it to Ridley Scott in that regard. I feel like they sort of sit in the same space in my brain
for sure
a little bit, just because they are those big blockbuster guys
and aliens.
And, yes, that as well. But I'm not as familiar with James Cameron's game. But getting reacquainted with it, I do have to admit, even on my teeny tiny little TV. Which was never ideal for any sort of viewing experience. This movie was gas.
Yeah, it should be illegal to watch this movie like anywhere except an IMAX theater, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what
you've got, like I don't even know, like a 72-inch TV at your house, which does
it scratches an itch.
Come
for sure,
close, yeah.
But it's not quite the cinema.
No.
What had happened though is this movie, it made the most money ever. Everyone saw it, but then everyone like collectively kind of like forgot the plot and only remembered about the ponytail sex. everyone was like, the blue people, right? Avatar blue people.
Okay, so there was was there conversation really about the ponytail sex? Because I think I was too young to catch on to that. If there was the conversation.
No, I think
I just remember. I remember it being like very like SNL skit, like Ryan Gosling papyrus like jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of topical cultural humor about the ponytail sex. And then the film just kind of like culturally goes dormant, and no one thinks about Avatar until 2022 rolls around, and they're like, there's a second one, and it's like, huh? And
which is why I still haven't seen it.
And so what had happened to me and a lot of other people, I think, is that they re-released the first Avatar in IMAX for like a pretty normal theatrical run. Like it was in theaters for quite a while.
A month or so at least,
before the second one, leading up to the second one. And at that time in the press and talking about the second one, it became apparent sort of to everyone that they filmed like all of them. They took the success of the first movie, and then between the years 2017 and 2020, they filmed movies 2, 3, and parts of 4. There's a plan for it to go through movie 5, but I think it's somewhat contingent on the success of 3 and how much time. James Cameron's 71, I think.
Yeah,
so we've got time.
You said he's talking like he's dying, though. He's pulling a George R.R. Martin kind of thing.
I mean, it's hard to say because when asked about it, he's like, obviously I want to direct all 5. He's like, this
has been his passion project since what, 1980 or something?
Like his whole life, pretty much. It's like his magnum opus.
Yeah, these little blue guys.
Like, I think it's his mom, actually, who's the one who came up with the blue people. She, like, saw in a dream a 12-foot tall blue person. And, like, from then in his childhood, James Cameron's like, those are the Na'vi. But yeah, so it's like his whole life he's been thinking about this and world building and working on it pretty much.
How old do you think he was when he decided on the
ponytail sex?
No, the unobtainium.
So I was looking, so it turns out unobtainium is actually
fight for your man.
It's like a so the writing in this movie is bad. And that's what I'm going to try to encourage you to hold your reservations, like
push on.
When we started this movie, I'm like, it's just really important that you constantly remind yourself that the second movie is twice as good as this, and that this came out in 2009. Like, I want there to be a flashing thing in the bottom of the screen to be like, reminder, this came out in 2009, because it looks amazing.
It was really good to have you here for that reason, because to me, it looks better than any Marvel movie I've ever seen. It looks better than 90% of the movies that come out that are heavily CGI'd these days, because obviously he created it, so he perfected it, so it took him 10 years or so to like actually get this technology looking perfect. But at the same time, like, I do think there is this perfect window in the early 2000s of when CGI just looked so fucking mint because everyone gave a shit. Like, this I categorize in the same category as like any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yep.
Gas. Phenomenal.
Yeah, and this was right at the time where 3D movies were just starting to look good. And
yeah.
And I think this was the 3D movie that transitioned to those hard black glasses.
Yes.
So like not the red and blue.
So it looks actually normal.
Like you think, but they were like plastic, what you would get now at the theater for a 3D movie. I think this is like what's the catalyst for that, because pretty much everyone saw this in 3D to the point where the success of this movie made them start trying to sell at-home 3D TVs. Do you remember this? In like the 2010s, early 2010s, they were like, y'all loved Avatar. Don't you want that at home? And everyone's like, no.
No, what I always wanted at home was we had, I think it was the Shrek. I don't know if it was the Shrek tape or the Shrek 2 tape, but it basically came with the home version of that ride that they have in Universal, that Shrek 3D ride.
Wait, that's so fun.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. But they came with the glasses and everything like that, and it kind of worked on like a shitty old TV.
Yeah.
Low-key, so that's all I needed. I do not remember them trying to actually sell a full 3D TV.
They were. Oh, it didn't work out. Nobody bought them.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, nobody bought them. Because after Avatar, culturally, everyone forgot about Avatar.
And nothing stuck.
Everyone was not like, I watch Avatar every night on my 3D TV. I mean, maybe some guy does.
I mean, not anymore since they cut out the ponytail sex.
Well, yes, okay. And so, getting back to censorship, so then they re-released this movie in IMAX, and I go to see it again because it's like the second one. You gotta get the hype. And I was also like, I was 10.
Yeah, I need the refresher.
I need the refresher. And then I remember being like, oh, I get it now. Like,
this is gas.
Yeah, I fully get it. I'm bought in. And then, especially after having seen the second one, I'm fully on board about Avatar. I will say, I have some reservations. Obviously, this is a story told by a white man. It's a white director, a white writer, and it's about an indigenous group of people. So it's like, automatically, we have to look at that and take that at face value. But then from there, all these conversations about this being like a white savior movie, or it's just Dances with Wolves in space, it's just Pocahontas in space, it's just Ferngully in space. It's It's like, I think that is a very surface level reading of the movie.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, it's being so blatantly obvious that movie is starting from the perspective of the colonizer. He starts as a colonizer and he ends as a Na'vi. So it's like, yeah, of course it's a white savior movie.
Because here's the thing, it has to start somewhere, and not that I've seen the second movie, but I have to assume that that's where it sort of goes, as you get more of the native perspective as it goes.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Also continues in a slightly problematic space of like white actors playing these roles.
Oh, yes. You told me something about a lot of the kids were white actors.
Not a lot of them, but none of them, you know. White actors playing these supposed, you know, quote unquote mixed race Na'vi children. But even like Zoe Saldana is not an indigenous. If you're specifically trying to like cast indigenous actors, there's only one in this movie, plays the father.
Oh yes.
But otherwise,
at the same time, it is blue aliens in space.
right. So it's like, what is the responsibility there necessarily?
I would almost rather know that like there was like real consultation behind the scenes going on. Like,
if white Australian actor Sam Worthington's Na'vi avatar has dreads, is that a white guy with dreads?
That is the question.
That's the real question. And I'm gonna say like a 75% yes. He's still a white guy with dreads.
Yeah.
But and unfortunately the number of white people with dreads he did
have his bat mitzvah though. So is it
he ends the movie fully like sort of a Ship of Theseus situation. Like, is he a white man anymore? No,
he is a blue alien.
He let the tree absorb his white man body, and he's now in the Avatar body. Is Jake Sully a white man still? Spiritually, but he's working on it, and that's
I guess James Cameron is just working on it too.
Just a white guy trying his best. And that's all this movie is.
Oh my god, no. I'll tell you what, James Cameron might not have nailed that sort of realm of things. I'll tell you what, he brought that oceanography special interest into the fold and did fantastic things. I cannot wait to watch the next one, because just watching this movie, like, don't get me, I'm no oceanographer or anything like that, but you know, my family scuba dives and big ocean people. Watching this movie, the entire thing is just like, oh, so you plucked all of this from the reefs and from the depths of the ocean and put it on Pandora, and it's stunning what he's done.
Yeah, and that's just the forest. Like the rainforest is still very ocean coded.
I can't wait.
It's amazing. The second movie is so beautiful.
I can't wait to get more creatures, especially. I like that, you know, there's a lot that you see from the ocean, but at the same time, it really folds in, you know, like a dinosaur sort of situation.
Yes, there's actually a lot of cut scenes. So to get back on track about the censorship. So the censorship, they show a lot.
Sorry, we keep edging everyone about the ponytail.
But basically what had happened is that the movie Avatar is about a white man named Jake Sully who plays a twin of himself. Sam Worthington plays his twin. The twin died but was training to be in this Avatar program. And they're like, the body was so expensive, we need to utilize this. So Sam Worthington, even though you're nobody, you can come participate in this project. And his backstory is that he is a paraplegic Marine, a former Marine, and that there's all of this footage got cut when they re-released it for theaters, I think.
Yeah, well,
now it's on streaming.
Well, we saw a little bit of it because Derek, you brought over the DVD.
Yeah, so I bought a DVD because I was curious to see if I purchased a DVD if it would be
the James Cameron cut or the Disney cut.
If it would have the ponytail sex, and we didn't get to watch it because your DVD player wasn't producing sound. So we ended up watching the censored version. But in the mute first couple minutes we watched, it was even different.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's sort of like him in a dingy sort of city space, like drinking and obviously not in a good space with himself, you know?
Long, shaggy hair. But
yeah.
Pretty much from what I've gathered, the most essential things that they cut, starting with, is this like 4 to 5 minutes of exposition at the beginning of the movie that show Earth, that show Sicily on Earth, and how we're at the years 2154 or something like that.
I feel like I didn't even get the year on this.
2154, I think they start out saying. And basically, humans have raped and pillaged the Earth.
Yeah, sure.
Strip mined everything. There's no more resources. So we've gone up to space and we found a new planet to try to rape and pillage, basically.
Of course,
and so they found Pandora, and they're like trying to colonize Pandora. And Jake Sully's just a guy, but his twin dies, so he's going to go be an avatar, right? But in the beginning, we get all this exposition that shows how people are like living in shipping containers and there's no resources. And I think that is a pretty key part to understanding then the awe and majesty of this like untouched planet.
Yeah.
But so I feel like that was like 5 extra minutes, really? They really thought that was it giving too much like, oh, this is going to be a critique on capitalism. Let's try to cut that.
I have to assume it's that, because I don't think they're worried about time. It was still a 2-hour and 40-minute movie while we were watching it, you know?
Right. But so then obviously they do cut the ponytail sex. So Jake Sully is with the military. Basically this, it's called like the resourcing, what is it? The RDA, Resource Development Administration.
Sure.
I think is what it's called, but it's basically the government. It's basically the government and the military, and the military is taking over this planet and mining it and stuff. But there's this like side project run by Sigourney Weaver, and
of course
they clone the bodies of the people who live on Pandora, the Na'vi, and they've cloned them, and they're able to upload the human consciousness with like a neural link kind of situation, and they can go into the avatar bodies because regular humans can't breathe the air on Pandora. Yeah, humans need to have these like respirators, and the Na'vi are also very big.
Yeah, they're like 12 feet tall.
So in order to sort of integrate themselves into the culture, but also try to like barter some sort of like understanding or peace or whatever. Dr. Augustine, Sigourney Weaver with her CGI cigarette inside in the lab, contaminating everything in the lab with her fucking cigarette.
Oh, it's just brilliant.
But she starts this program where they're going to go in, pretty much. A huge part that gets cut of the movie is they vaguely reference a school. And they're like, she has school. That's why some of the
her white savior school.
They're like, oh, a charter school. Yeah, they keep going the charter school, which is like, but it's like, that's why some of the Na'vi can speak English, and that's why they kind of have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
Like later
somewhat
in the
of an
movie.
Understanding.
A huge scene that got cut out of the movie, and a whole storyline that got cut out of the movie, is that she ran that school for 10 years.
Holy shit.
We get no context of this. So
is this it just for in the Disney cut or in the James Cameron cut? This got cut as well.
No, it's in the James Cameron cut.
Oh, wow.
It's not in the Disney cut.
What the fuck?
Well, actually, I can't speak on that. Maybe it's like a director's cut situation or something. But basically, the school was running for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then some of the students at the school were part of a rebellion that went after one of the, construction machines.
Sure.
And so then they came into the school, and there was a huge, assassination of Na'vi children, pretty much, to like make a point, and then they had to close the school down. A really important thing that got cut entirely from the story is that Neytiri had an older sister who died in that incident.
Holy shit.
And she was supposed to be the spiritual leader. And Neytiri was just the younger sister. And her sister died in the accident at the school.
Insane to cut in any sense. If it's a director's cut or if it's the Disney cut.
Especially because if Neytiri has a dead older sister, Jake has a dead sibling, and like the two of them fulfilling the role that their dead sibling was supposed to have, that is such more of a foundation for a bond and a relationship than what they have.
Yeah, exactly.
Absurd.
Which is kind of very much like just like, oh well, you're in charge of him and teaching him the Avatar ways, and then they just happen to fall in love, kind of thing. You know, there's no, you know, and you get to see all of his sort of training and his integration into their culture, but you don't get to see like a whole lot of them bonding on an emotional level. You see them spending a lot of time with each other, but you don't see like an actual like romantic connection until it's time. Until it's time for the ponytail sex.
And he has his bat mitzvah, and they say, you're a man now, and they say, you can connect to the Tree of Souls. Here are the ancestors. You are Omatakaya now, like officially blue person certified. And then Neytiri's like, and you can pick a wife. And he's like, I already have. And, you know, then they sort of get to business, and they connect their ponytails. But no.
Not in the Disney cut.
Not in the version we watched. They just sort of like dry hump.
Exactly. Because it also begs the question of if the sexual encounter is through these tendrils in their ponytails, what's under their loincloths even?
Why a loincloth? If no dick, then why loincloth?
Which also, like, I don't know if in the second movie or third movie we get any more understanding of their anatomy, if there's any births or how they're the
they'd have to have like a cloaca at least for like waist.
Yeah.
It can't be smooth down there.
Listen, man, I don't know, but they start dry humping, which it does get
steamy, sort of.
Well, it's again, just a gray area, because what are we working with?
Because they cut out the ponytail part, and the ponytails are important because that's how they connect to nature and to Awa, and they have their bonds with their animals, with their horses, and we see the ponytail being used multi-purposefully, and so
sometimes even violently. I did not like how James Cameron had them mounting their bird horses or whatever.
The Ilkun.
Yeah.
The dragons. The dragons. Call them dragons.
Yes, they're dragons.
Yeah.
And they said, I can understand by that logic as to, like, if they're having the ponytail sex with each other, then they're also doing the dominating of this dragon and attaching their ponytails together.
Yeah.
It is rather violent in that, once you see it put into that context, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know if that's why people felt weird about it, but you and we located the ponytail scene so that we could fill ourselves in on what we were missing.
We did watch, yes.
And we did watch it. And honestly,
there was still dry humping.
I think the reason they cut the ponytail was not anyone's particular issue with the ponytail, but it's because they both kind of nut a little bit. Like, they connect.
There's definitely some heavy, there's some heavy breath.
Like, they connect the ponytails, and then there's like, a bit of a climax. That Sam Worthington has, and then it's she is like, because it's like we're sharing a neurological bond now. And I almost was like, if they had just toned down the like, ooh, this feels kind of nice. If it was more of like a wink than like a, I feel like
he was a little he wasn't that subtle,
but. That's maybe just me being too nitpicky because probably just on the whole, they were like, ugh, everyone just made fun of the ponytail sex. Let's just cut the ponytail sex part. They can still be mated for life or whatever. Let's just get rid of that. But I'm like, it's losing a key thing for me.
It honestly does, because it is sort of, that's
kind of a pervert, yes.
Well, it's also the thing of like, with their dragons, it's like, well, you are connected for life. That's the whole thing, is they can't have another. And the way they talk about it as well, it's like, well, you can choose a wife, and it's sort of, it does give me sort of penguin vibes, and you're mated for life as well. That's the whole thing. So without the ponytail, it is you lose the ponytail scene. I'll give it to him. It was erotic.
Right.
Yeah. Which I can understand where people get uncomfortable with that, because it does sort of dip its toes into the realm of furries.
Well, they are like cat people, pretty much. They have very feline features. The Na'vi. And that's maybe
I would not be shocked if we saw an Avatar Broadway show within the next 20 years.
Oh my God, I want to produce it.
I mean, hey.
That sounds amazing.
There you go. Hey, now
we have Home Tree, a huge set piece of Home Tree. Oh my God, who are we going to get to write the music? You know, in the way that like Meatloaf did the Spider-Man music? Who are we going to get to do the music? Because we would have to reinvigorate the franchise.
Yes.
And I was talking to you about this a little bit, that like James Cameron is doing interviews for this third movie, and some people are projecting a sort of like finality to his tone, which he hasn't said. He said, obviously, I want to direct 4 and 5. We want to make 4 and 5. Like that, of course, is the goal.
And they filmed some of it. You said they filmed like a lot of the children's scenes.
They filmed everything with kids, because basically they
grow up.
We can't be filming this over a 15-year span when the kids are
going to be adults. Yeah.
If he does pass, or like time passes and James Cameron isn't able to like finish, but Disney still like proprietarily wants to continue with the billion-dollar machine of Avatar, like, to me there could be a more ethical reinvigoration of the franchise where we include more native creatives and more people of color, and have it be less white narratives, right? But like, is Disney gonna do that? Is anyone gonna do that with Avatar?
No,
like, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do it for the musical.
Yes,
we'll have to. We'll be woke. We as two white people are gonna be so woke, and we're gonna take over the Avatar franchise.
I just think it would be. I would just think set design wise, a giant home tree would be pretty gas, especially like. I mean, just thinking what you can do, like, rafters-wise in that setting.
Yeah, have you
that'd
seen
be pretty sick.
The Paddington animatronic?
Oh my God, have I seen? Yes, of course.
It's like a puppet / animatronic. Yes. And it's got one person.
Stunned by him.
One person inside, and then another person with a remote controlling. I feel like, could we get some, like, Na'vi animatronics?
Probably.
Or at least for some of the animals.
Yeah. Well, it is the tough situation of you're going to have to be painted blue every single day.
Right.
For Broadway. That's a lot. And any alphabet actor can tell you probably.
You have to be over 6'5" as well to be cast.
Well, listen, we'll get some bitches on stilts. We'll go full Lion King mode on this, you know. Broadway does do some fantastic things.
There was other more like dinosaur looking species on Pandora that got cut, that got left.
Of course.
So it is supposed to be giving more like prehistoric, you know, like there are Triceratops type things. You know, we see the big like rhinoceros sort of bug looking huge guy.
I loved the panther.
The like wet kind of, it's hard to describe because everything, they're like rainforest creatures that are modeled after sea creatures that are being put through a fictional lens. So it's all very but it's beautiful, stunning to look at. The monkeys and the bugs and
shout out to the Christmas tree worms that he threw right in the front. Like, if anyone is really into the ocean, these are one of the most fun little sea worms that you could possibly have. Just go look it up. It's a great way to spend 20 minutes.
I didn't know about this, but you were like, those plants are modeled after Christmas tree worms, and I got it. They like suck into the ground. It's quite
they live on coral reefs. They're all beautiful, multicolored little guys. But I do have to say, this is probably one of the most impressive worlds to see built on a screen. And obviously there's, it's 2025. There's so many different sci-fi films that exist out there, but he did really do something special with the way that, it's so expansive. Yeah. There's so many different creatures that he's put on here. I can't wait to get into the second one and just devour it.
Yeah, you can tell it's something that he's thought about for his whole life.
I couldn't imagine like just the binders of work that he's got.
There's a ton of books that I would be interested in checking out sometime about like all the lore. And I know there's a comic series that kind of fills in some of the time in between the movies, and it sort of has franchised itself out. But it is very cool to think that this was an original concept thought of for film. Like this isn't like Marvel, or this isn't anything that, you know, has existed in its own sense before. Which is pretty cool to me. There's also a video game that I'm like, maybe I should check that out.
Oh, that'd be pretty gas.
I think it's pretty crunchy though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But so Jake Sully, he gets into his avatar body, he goes to Pandora, and then our antagonist of the film, the head of the military industrial complex destroying the planet, Miles Quaritch, and he is like, hey, you're a Marine, I know what you're like, you're gonna get me some intel, you're gonna scope out the Na'vi, figure out what their weaknesses are, and so we can exploit them pretty much. And then it's this whole Dances with Wolves situation where he then integrates himself into the native culture and falls in love with it and realizes their perspective on the world. And then it's sort of this ticking clock of they're like, we're going to bulldoze the home tree and you got to tell everyone to get out. They're like, we're sending you in as a Na'vi so that they'll listen to you and be like, relocate. Pretty much. And he like,
puts this off until the very last second.
He doesn't
say anything until the bulldozers are there.
Until his bat mitzvah. And he's like, now they'll trust me. And I'm like, maybe you should have been bringing this up at the start. Pretty much he betrays them in the sense that he doesn't bring it up. They do not have time to relocate. He doesn't barter this peace deal. That's everyone calls it a white savior movie. No. Jake Sully doesn't save anyone.
Thousands of Na'vi die.
Jake Sully
crushed by home tree. It was crazy to watch.
9/11.
Literally, truly 9/11.
But pretty much they go in and they crush the home tree. It is like genocide level of displacement and murder and just terrible. And they really don't hold back in the movie. Too.
No.
Neytiri is like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah. Which, oh my God, I gotta say.
Her dad dies?
Oh,
dude, her dad died in the tree fire and she's gonna forgive Jake Sully after that?
Yeah, and he's coming up like, please. Girl, fuck you. Oh my God, I cannot believe that Zoe Saldana has that Oscar for Emilia Perez and not this performance.
It's
because it's amazing. First of all, obviously what James Cameron has done with mocap to begin with, but the way that, like, you know, she can come through it so strongly and so beautifully and brilliantly, and I understand, you know, it's more than just like the breaking down performances that get Oscars, but at the same time I'm like, that bitch fucking, I could not imagine the work she put in. And this is a project that's gonna be like spanning like 20 plus years for her or something like that. Insanity. Fuck Emilia Perez.
No, I feel like in the same breath that people say Andy Serkis is like the father of mocap.
Oh, yes.
I feel like I would then, in that second breath,
absolutely.
say Zoe Saldana like revolutionized acting through the mocap.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I mean, I don't feel very akin to our protagonist Jake or anything like that. Or it is, you know, he kind of is this
empty vessel.
Yeah,
it's kind of boring.
Not even an anti-hero. She fucking kills this performance. Out of everyone in this entire movie, she is stunning.
And that's why I feel like I do have to kind of hand it to James Cameron that I do think a lot of this was very intentional. And especially once you watch the second movie and stuff, a lot of the stuff that the first movie is like setting up makes a lot of sense, makes more sense. But I would say like Jake Sully being our protagonist and just being like this nothing, dumb, boring white guy. Like Sam Worthington is kind of a nobody. Like he's famous and he's in action movies, but it's not like they weren't getting.
No, he wasn't a good enough actor, honestly, to be in this. The way that his Australian accent kept slipping through.
Oh my God, it was pretty brutal. He was anytime he was in his Na'vi body, I'm like, oh, so you just are Australian now. We're just pretending.
Oh my God, exactly. I was like, I hope this got better for the second movie. We'll see.
But I like how it's reinforced through a lot of really plain and kind of clunky and not very nuanced dialogue, but it really hammers the point home like Awa chooses him, and it's this like chosen white man thing, and it's like, oh, he's the chosen one, he's gonna save us, and it's like eye roll, okay, over it, whatever. But I like that the mom, the like spiritual leader of the clan, she's like, if you're really an empty cup like you say you are, help us. We can teach you. Like other sky people, they can't learn, but maybe you can learn. Yeah. And I feel like Jake Sully is someone who got like chewed up and spit out by the world he came from. He's nothing but ready to embrace this life that he has.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is it's kind of, you know, James Cameron really hammers it home of like, what else does he have to live for? Considering that I will say this movie does not a great job of portraying disabled people.
Yeah, right up there with like the questionable, like culturally appropriative nature of this movie. Ableism is right up there with like the way that, pretty much they're like, because he's a disabled veteran, he has nothing to live for, and the only thing he's ever offered is to get his legs back.
And that's all he cares about.
They're like, that's the one thing we can do for you is like, quote unquote, like cure you of this disability. And it's often brought up that the surgery to repair his spine exists, he just can't afford it. Like, not on VA benefits.
Well, and that's how they entice him to sort of get him to be their informant. He says, I'm going to get you new legs that work on Earth.
And he brings it up again. He's like, we'll ship you out right now. You know, it's ready. It's a done deal. Ready to go. Which is just the scene of him finally going into his avatar body. And he's like, I can walk. I can run. And it's supposed to be like this huge catharsis. But it just comes off as so like pandering and tone deaf. And it's like, oh, because that's all anyone disabled could ever hope for. Like they can't have fulfilling lives outside of, you know, reconciling with the one thing that's like quote unquote wrong with them. Oh my God. Hated that. Because I'm like, why did he have to be disabled to begin with?
It was really a lot.
Is it like
there could have been any other motivation, like a monetary thing that he has someone
his debts.
Former
criminal or something. Literally they could have done anything else with his character to give
just to
him that
rehabilitate
motivation.
him. You know what I mean? It did not have to be like a physical rehabilitation.
No, I thought that could have been, you know, cut. And then it does seem to be this whole like needle drop or like, oh, and look, and he's in a wheelchair. Bet you didn't expect that because we only showed you him from the shoulders up for the first 10 minutes. It's like, oh, that felt icky too. I did not like that.
Not a good way to start it, but obviously, you know, I do think the good outweighs the bad in this movie.
But then the other thing that gets cut, so basically then Jake goes back into his human form and is like, oh my God, you guys need to stop bulldozing Home Tree, stop it. And they're like, we're not going to stop. And he's like, okay, so him, and then he gets his team of like woke science bros.
Sigourney
Weaver, Norm Spellman, Dr. Norm Spellman, who is like, what is he ever up to? Who knows?
Useless.
Side quest, doing something. And then girl boss fighter pilot, Michelle Rodriguez, she kind of joins their little ragtag group. And then there's also like another scientist guy who seems to be sort of helping them. So they've got their like sort of internal group and they move the body switching devices into a secret location so that they can go into avatar mode. And then Jake is basically like, I need to gain back the trust of the Na'vi. So he tames the biggest dragon in the sky and he becomes Toruk Makto. And he is now basically like, they now have to listen to him because he's like a legendary dragon rider. Pretty much. And
that was a big hoss over there.
And then he gets back and they're like, we're still pissed at you. And he's like, we gotta fight back. And at this point, because Neytiri's father died, Sute gets to step up. And Sute was supposed to be Neytiri's, like, they were sort of betrothed in a sense. And in their clan, they have two clan leaders. And there's a man and then who's like the more of like the clan leader, and then the woman who's more of like the spiritual leader, I guess.
Yes.
And it's sort of, those are Neytiri's parents, so she's like the princess in a way. And she is set to be the spiritual leader, and Sute is set to be like the clan
chief, yeah.
the clan leader. So they're like going to be together. So then when they have their ponytail sex, Sute immediately is like, "You stink. I can smell it on you. You mated with my girl." And Jake's like, sorry.
Couldn't help myself, brother.
But then he comes back with Toruk Muktu, and he's like, do I have permission to speak right now? We need to rally the troops, pretty much. And he gets together all the different clans, and you get to sort of see a bunch of different environments of Pandora and different communities of Na'vi living in different, lifestyles, interacting with different animals. Like they're the horse rider ones, and then they're the more sky people with the dragons.
Yeah.
And they basically get everyone together, and we're like, we need to clap back at these humans, pretty much. Sute, as soon as he popped up on the screen, you were like, who is that? And I was like, I don't know. And then I went and I Googled, and it turns out it's Laz Alonso, who plays Mother's Milk in the TV show The Boys. So literally every time Sute was on the screen, I was like, MM. I'm like, wait, that's MM.
Unfortunately, the reason I was asking was because that was the first time that someone popped up on well, not the first time, I guess.
It's always Saldana hot.
But yeah. He popped up and I said,
you said, who is that?
Wait a second. Wait one damn second. He looks good in his Na'vi form. I gotta give it to him.
But another cut scene that happens is in this huge epic final battle where they have the Na'vi just tearing up helicopters and really fucking people up. And the humans are going to drop a huge bomb on to the Tree of Souls, and they're stopping it pretty much. And the action sequence of Sute jumping up onto the helicopter pad. And just you finally get this sense of scale between the humans and the Na'vi in hand-to-hand combat for the first time. And he's picking up a guy and just swinging him around. And
I wish
their bows. And then you see the bow hit, and it's like a pool stick sized arrow just in their chest. Crazy. But he gets shot. And he falls to the ground and he dies. And that's the last we see of him. And there's this whole cut sequence of they find him on the ground, and Jake kind of puts him out of his misery at the end,
Damn.
But they speak, and he's like, I pass the leadership role on to you. You're going to be the savior, right? Just to have that final conversation. Again, just so it doesn't...
Was this a Disney cut, or was this a Cameron?
I think it's in the... I'll have to watch my DVD and I'll report back to you. But these were all things that when I Googled...
This is so much.
Yeah, when I YouTubed cut Avatar scenes, I was watching these to fill in some gaps for myself. And I was like, damn, I'll put the links in the description below too if anyone wants to fill themselves in on some cut Avatar scenes if you're streaming. I would also if one person either hasn't seen Avatar or hasn't watched it since it came out, revisits this because of this podcast, I will feel like I served a purpose in the world.
Yeah, I think you are really her
champion. I'm trying to get people more interested in it because
I'm hooked.
I think the optics of it being a little problematic dissuade a lot of people, and somewhat rightfully so. But I don't think any other story that's about colonialism and imperialism and environmentalism is being told on this scale at all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there is definitely some gray area. But like I said, I think it really outweighs it. I think that, and especially I'm interested to see what he does with the second one. I can't speak for it. You can, obviously. And then the third one, that these ones have been made within the last 10 years. I would like to think that he's, gotten more people on board as they've made more movies and become more informed, and we'll see where the story goes. Should we talk about what big blue people we want to fuck?
Yeah, I feel like fuck, marry, kill. You can do Avatar form, Jake Sully, Neytiri, and then Sute as the three main Avatar.
I gotta kill Jake immediately.
Yeah, of course. Every time Neytiri is giving him doe eyes, I'm like, do not trust that white man.
Yeah.
Get away from her.
Yeah.
Jake Sully, go get a job. Get away from her.
yeah, I'm gonna go for Zoe Saldana here, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong.
To marry?
Yeah, to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Sute is gorgeous. I don't want a man.
Real.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to link ponytails with a man.
I just want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to investigate that one time to see what's actually under those loincloths and then report back.
Real.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I have to agree with you in the sense that if you marry Zoe Saldana or if you marry Sute, you're being married to one of the leaders.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, whose first lady do I want to be? And I feel like more the healing side versus the war side.
Yeah, I don't want that
is
smoke.
more for me. Like, I can get more down into like
because you also
making the necklaces.
Yeah, those they're Conti bras, dude. Oh my god.
So I'll have to agree with you that I'm gonna marry Neytiri.
Yeah.
I'll fuck Sute. And I'm killing Jake Sully.
Yeah, immediately. I don't even really have any special shout outs to any of the other ones.
No, I mean, it is like, did this movie make so much money because everyone's a furry? And everyone's like into the cat people.
Probably.
And everyone's like joking, like, oh, yeah, Avatar with the blue people. But it's like, you were into it.
It was a little hot.
I can tell.
It was a little hot.
I'm not saying I'm a furry, but I'm not saying I wouldn't a Na'vi.
Well, it's just the whole. It's also the whole thing of like it's the. I think this all ties back to the discussion who your sexual awakenings were as a child.
Sure.
It's like Fox and the Hound or some shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna be Lady and the Tramp.
I know. And
they're feeding you anthropomorphized animals. You know. What do you think was gonna happen? I don't know.
Spirit the horse.
Exactly. It's the whole thing of like young men have their sexual awakening to like
Lola Bunny.
Not even like I don't know. I feel like
Megan Fox in
exactly something like that, and girls, yeah, and young girls
Spirit the horse.
Exactly.
Because it's about the kind eyes. Okay, it has nothing to do with her rack. It's about her kind eyes. Oh my god.
Well, at the same time, like it's like I think of like all the cartoons as a kid. Like there weren't, sexualized Timmy Turner's dad wasn't sexualized. You remember that rack and that fucking ass they put on his mom?
Yeah, real.
They sexualized all the women. What were us girls left with?
Yeah, real.
I had to think that the dog with an animal with a human face was hot.
You're like,
by the way, not a furry, but I'm just for some reason.
Hashtag not a furry. Clearing the air.
Clearing the air is like fighting for.
Not a furry, yeah, fighting for. I'm more of a scaly, I'd say.
But do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I feel like, so if you're having your Avatar watch party, what are you gonna serve and eat and drink? I'm so engrossed in the film, and I need to be a facilitator.
I was gonna say, yeah, you had me on lock.
I'm like, pay attention.
Exactly.
Right now. I'm like, you need to hear this line of dialogue. It's really key. Like, they're saying the theme of the movie.
Please.
But I feel like, have you ever been grocery shopping like somewhere like an Ocean State job lot or like somewhere that sells like also not groceries, and they have like those military meals?
Oh, yes. Yeah, throw some water on it and rehydrate it.
Yeah, dehydrated military food. I think if you could find that would be a really funny snack to have at your Avatar party.
I like that. Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was sort of mushrooms. Because there's so many. I mean, there's this whole other theme in the movie where it's the home tree is connected to every single planet on the Earth and everything. To Awa, yes. Yeah. So it's all interconnected. Of course, mushrooms are like the exact same way on planet Earth.
Mycelial networks.
Yes, well, yes. But so I was thinking mushrooms, and you threw out enoki mushrooms, and I've seen some great looking recipes for like tempura, almost enoki mushrooms. And I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? There's a big tempura batch that you and your girls can all crunch on through this movie. I think that sounds like a great idea. Like 3 different dipping sauces.
Yes.
You know, something like that. And
wait, I feel like you put some blue food coloring in like ranch or like a spicy mayo or something. Because I'm thinking, I'm like, I am only doing blue.
I want some color.
Blue foods. So you can get like the blue Sour Patch Kids, like some different blue candy.
Hypnotic for your drink.
Yep. What, like blue curacao, just like Powerade.
Anything,
like what else is blue? Just a really blue forward spread. I think.
Yeah. Get some popsicles going.
Yeah.
I was thinking for a drink, I found a recipe for a good yuzu, what is it? Cucumber margarita. I thought that sounds delightful.
Cucumber margarita, but you need to make it blue.
I could throw, yeah. I'll throw a little blue curacao in there instead of, what's it called?
Triple sec?
Yeah, exactly. Fine. Perfect. Yeah.
It needs to be blue for Pandora.
Yeah. And I have to just follow it up with a second movie. I think that's my duty as someone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
I can't even recommend something else. I couldn't imagine putting something else on after that.
But I also couldn't imagine watching the second one on this TV of yours because that would truly be a crime. Because for how amazing the first one is, like imagine then 10 years of technological developments and catching up to like, you know, modern technology. And the second one came out in 2022.
Yeah.
So it's like the 2009 one looks better than movies do today. Oh my God, it's gonna blow your mind. And I'm so excited for you to see the third one, hopefully in IMAX when it comes out. As should everyone else. Get your tickets
now.
See it if you can. Because I think it's like truly. I'm a theater goer. I go to the movies like probably every week. We have a movie podcast. Obviously, it's like I'm already bought in. But I'm like,
it's a hobby.
Culturally, how do we revitalize the cinema? Like people don't really do that as much anymore. But I feel like in this post-COVID, like people want to leave the house. Or there's just like more of this desire. I don't know. And I feel like I saw a lot with Sinners, like and One Battle After Another, like seeing movies in a certain projection, you know, or on a certain screen or in a certain format as being this like thing to go for. You know, I think that's really cool and exciting, and I'm excited that more people are excited about being in the theater. Yeah,
I'm glad that, you know, every now and then we get a good handful of movies that really plead the case for that. And I think Frankenstein and One Battle After Another lately have really push that forward, and I hope that this new Avatar pushes that forward as well, and everyone sort of buys back into it. Because I think it's a whole thing of like, I think there's a generation of moviegoers that probably are missing it because they weren't here for the first one.
And James Cameron recently in an interview was talking about specifically Netflix. If Netflix wants to buy Warner Brothers, what that might do for Warner Brothers movies being in theaters, you know, that sort of thing. And James Cameron had a comment, I don't have the quote on me or anything, but he said, you know, something along the lines of like, taking movies out of theaters is a travesty. Yeah. Like they need to be fully fulfilling standard theatrical runs. Like this Frankenstein, this 2-week thing, that's not cutting it. No. People are busy. You got to give people a 6 to 10 week window to see your movie. Yeah. Not like what we're getting. It's just
on a scale of Avatar, because I feel like I don't even want to rate this. I don't know. It feels like an 8 movie, but I almost want to give it a 7 because I know that I can only go up from here.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of valid criticisms against it. And the first one and its place in the cultural zeitgeist, like, you know, is it not being remembered a true sign of its quality, or was that just like where it landed? Yeah. I don't know. Again, I was 10, so it's really tough for me to say.
Yeah, can we get some millennials in the chat, please? I don't know. Well, I need someone else's perspective from like a 15-year-old.
I did talk to my cousin Erin, who's a little bit older than us, and she said, I never saw it because it seems like Dances with Wolves in Space. And I said, yeah. I was like, well, yeah, that is correct.
That is the movie.
But even James Cameron will say, he'll admit to that. Like, it's not an incredibly original like the story beats are not. It's all about the setting.
Yeah.
And the marvel of cinema and
exactly.
filmmaking. And then what?
Yeah. Where would you rate this though?
Oh, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it maybe an 8. Yeah, maybe an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I've found a lot of love for these movies in the past couple years, especially with the release of the second one, which I'm so excited to talk to you about.
Thrilled.
Coming up next month, James Cameron sequel month, and thank you everyone for listening. Let me know your thoughts about Avatar. Did you see it in 3D with your family? Did you forget about it? Did you take the glasses home and punch out the eye lenses and then paint them with nail polish and wear them to school? No, that was just me. I had my 3D glasses and then I'd wear my Survivor buff. So I had like a Survivor buff and like fake glasses.
I can't believe I missed this era.
And like feather earrings. Yeah.
This was before the feathers in the hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the hair's under the buff, so it's covered.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, I hope you all join us next month for more James Cameron. I'm going to have to watch Terminator for the first time.
Yep. Yeah, because me making you watch sequels is also inadvertently me making you watch
double features.
Yeah, all through. And that's a vibe. And then it's like Avatar and my eyes open and now I'm blue.